Hello. Hello, everybody. I'm back. We're back. We're all back. Homo Sapiens is B-A-C-K. It is so nice to be back. And I'm aware it took me a little while. So my apologies. I have gathered myself here in the garden. I've got the dog here. It's sunny. I'm just seeing out the last days of autumn. And I am, for anyone who's had an eye on podcasting lately, you will know that it's gone video. So this is also available on video. If you should wish to, we have a YouTube channel. It's at Homo Sapiens Pod. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this in the holder and my iPhone holder. And let's hope that that doesn't cut off the video. Let's try that. Because, as you may know, Apple released a new iPhone. The new iPhone records in HD. So I got it because we're doing video podcasting now. What they don't tell you is they have added 47 new buttons around the edge of the phone. So if you touch it in any way, what happens? It cuts off. So it stops what you're doing. I'm leaning here and resting something on the tripod. This is us. I've got a cup of coffee. I've got my little notes, what we're going to talk about, all your messages and things. And we're going to say hello. We're going to say, welcome to Homo Sapiens. Here we are. We're off. Dog's having a nice bathe in the sun next to me. There's a man drilling because what is life without a man drilling? Sip of coffee. And we're back. We're back with a lot to talk about. We have got a brand new format. The brand new format consists of this. Episodes, grab a pen. Episodes are now on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays, we're doing your emails. It'll be me chatting to you guys, reading your emails, reading your messages. You'll be seeing more of my life. If you've been looking on Instagram, at Homo Sapiens on Instagram, you'll see that I've been sharing bits and bobs that have sort of kept me busy in my year off. I'm sorry I was away so long. I made a TV show for Netflix. It's called 7 Dials by Agatha Christie. It's an adaptation of an Agatha Christie novel. It's out next year, I'm going to say. I think that's all I'm allowed to say. But it's really cool. It's starring Mia McKenna Bruce, who was in a movie called How to Have Sex. She's brilliant. It's got Helena Bonham Carter. It's got Martin Freeman. It has been a complete joy to make. And I'm very excited for you guys to see it. So that's coming out. We'll talk about that, I assume. And William and I also had a second baby. So we are now a dad of two. Dads of two. And that has been a completely magical journey and probably will come up more and more in the podcast. And we have been, I've been sharing bits and bobs of what I've been up to, and that will be kind of, you'll see more of that on the Tuesday episode. You'll see video every time now with every episode at Homo Sapiens Pod on YouTube, I believe. And so the Tuesday episodes is about what would you like to talk about? Write in and tell us things you did or didn't like about a chat that we had. And I really love this voice note that Richie sent in. Let's have a listen.
Everybody is raving about Celebrity Traitors starting in October. And I am too. Hi, Claudius Fringe. But we have been waiting on this pod for a lot longer. So I'm absolutely buzzing to hear that you're coming back. And yeah, I think what we need to hear is a variety of inspiring voices, especially while things are so tough in the community right now, not least of all for our trans community. But we still want our usual pop culture and positive fix. A nice wee power break that we can rely on to fill our cups and get back into the ring. So yeah, welcome back, and yeah, hear you soon.
So I put out on socials what I said to everyone, like, what would you like it to be? And I've got some of those here, but I really loved that voice note from Richie because it was very much what I feel Homo Sapiens should be doing, which is to be a community, a place for us all to be together. And, thousands of people listen every week. And despite what's going on in the world, where it feels like LGBTQ plus rights around the world are rowing backwards, there is a strength in togetherness, a strength in our community. But also a place for us to all have a laugh together, I love filling your cup, Rich, you said. What was it you said? You said a power break as well. And that is what the new Homo Sapiens is going to be. And I'll talk more about the Thursday episodes in a second, but I think it's about, there's something defiant about us all having a place with which we can, have a laugh, talk about pop culture, all those fun things, as well as a sanctuary for those who are struggling, like trans people in particular, who are having their rights taken away. Now, shall I talk about Thursdays? So Thursdays, I would sort of define as the main episode. And Thursdays is going to be me and a rotating roster or panel of co-hosts. It's terribly exciting, listeners. I'm going to reveal some now, but I'm not going to reveal them all. The theme of the series is Homo Sapiens All Stars. So it's people who have guested on the pod before or are friends of the pod, all coming together and being a rotating panel of co-hosts. So we've got Tom Allen, we've got Danny St. James, we've got Joe Lycett, we've got Jessie Ware, we've got Kadif Kirwan, we've got Yotam Ottolenghi, Megan Crabb, who I just love, Charlie Craggs, makes me howl every day. We've got Russell T. Davies. We've got Sean Fay, James Greenwood, Ryan O'Connell. Remember, Ryan came on the podcast many times to talk about his show Special that was on Netflix. And honestly, this is just a taster. We're going to be rolling out all the other brilliant co-hosts we've got coming up. But this is the family who are going to be making this show together. We're not going to have guests. It's just going to be us every Thursday me talking with one of those co-hosts about a topic that you listeners have chosen. So you've got to write to us, hello@homosapienspodcast.com. Write to us and tell us what you would like us to talk about. It can be funny, it can be serious. When Will and I started this podcast 8 years ago, sip of coffee, we said we always loved how Women's Hour on Radio 4, that was our kind of first thing we wanted to make something like Women's Hour on Radio 4. And we said we loved how on Women's Hour they could have Michelle Obama on one week and then talk about bunions the next. And I think the way that translates for us is that you can talk about the big stuff together, but we can also talk about the small stuff. So lots of you wrote in your topics that you'd like us to talk about, but no matter how big or small, let us know. We'll discuss it. And we've recorded episodes already. They're really funny. They are really insightful. I love my family of co-hosts. I cannot wait for you to hear them. So it's a really exciting new chapter for Homo Sapiens. And something else, man driving past in big van. I'm sitting in the garden. I'm going to take you around the garden. I've been doing my bulbs. So that'll be a video on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram if you don't already, at Homo Sapiens on Instagram. We are coming back with some activist lead in our pencil, let's say. And I really want you listeners to be involved in that. I want to mobilize even us all together, plane flying up, to make a difference. Trans people are under attack at the moment, and it is completely unacceptable. And I want everybody to know in the trans community that Homo Sapiens is here to support them in every single way we can. And you, the listeners, there are thousands of you. We are also pulling together in support of the trans community and anyone else who's being victimized. It's really important to say that what is happening to trans people is completely unacceptable. It's all unacceptable, and it can feel quite hopeless, and it's really dehumanizing for trans people. And I want them to know that there are thousands of people who listen to this show. There is a big community, and Homo Sapiens cares about all of you and will support you in any way we can. So one thing we're going to do is Homo Sapiens is setting up a pot of money to help. The waiting list is so long to get a consultation to start your trans transitioning, to start your transitioning, Zoa is a company set up by Danny St. James, and they make gender-affirming underwears. Doing that, even that can be expensive. So we're going to set up a pot of money. If you want to get some of that underwear for yourself or for someone you know who needs it, write to us, hello@homosapienspodcast.com, register your interest, and then we will be raising money in order to get that underwear for people. It's a really important thing for me to feel like we're doing something positive and providing a sanctuary. Providing a sanctuary means support, fighting on their behalf, but also having some fun, a respite. You know, something I think that's happened with LGBT people is we only seem to end up on the news fighting for our rights, and we live much more three-dimensional lives than that, and Homo Sapiens represents that. So it's kind of like Richie said, you know, we're going to be pop culture, fill your cup, all the things you loved about Homo Sapiens, just in this brand new format. Let's look at some of your topics that you wrote. So you asked for us to talk about queer friendship, why it's so hard to make friends in the queer community. So we're going to be covering that. We talked about trans rights. Danny St. James is going to come and talk to us about trans rights and many other things. Danny's one of our co-hosts. We're going to talk to Tom Allen about queer friendship. Tom is so amazing. Him and I, he said this wonderful thing when we first met where he said, isn't it funny we lived down the road from each other as kids, but we never knew each other. And just talking about the idiosyncrasies of what it is. And you all wrote in really interesting things about what it is that's specific about queer friendship and why it's tricky. So it's really nice to hear from you all about that. You've asked to talk about being South Asian and gay. You've asked to talk about the new Heartstopper movie. Your party, that was sent in probably before. Did your party implode? Jeremy Corbyn's Zara Sultana party? Don't know. We need to keep an eye on that. Same-sex parenting experiences. We're going to talk about that with James Greenwood. James Greenwood is co-host from BBC Morning Live. He is the loveliest. He's the vet. He came on before. So we're going to be talking about that. Ozempic. People were asking about Ozempic. Seems to have the gays in a chokehold. What does it mean? What does it mean for us? And we've also got all your funny hooking up stories. So we're going to be talking about that as well. Very, very funny hooking up stories that you have all sent in. And you also asked about book recommendations and things like that. So what we have invented is a big word. What we've started is a thing called Community Notice Board. So what I'd love you all to do is to write in if you want to recommend a queer-owned business, a play, a book, anything queer-friendly, you know, we will read it out on Homo Sapiens Community Notice Board because a lot of you send in things and it's really nice to have a place where we can talk about it, share it, get it out there, support things that we love, things that are fun, things that you enjoy. But that, you know, that's just the beginning. This is the beginning of the series. It's the first episode. So you all at home are the ones who are going to formulate this series. So write to us, hello@homosapienspodcast.com, @homosapiens on Instagram. Open that phone, tap out a message, tell us what you would like us to listen to. And we can do it. Who out of our co-hosts, what would you like them to speak about? What would you like Tom Allen to talk about? Danny St. James, Joe Lycett, Jessie Ware, Kadif Kirwan. I'm recapping here. Yotam Ottolenghi, Megan Crabb, Charlie Craggs, Russell T. Davies, Sean Fay, James Greenwood, Ryan O'Connell. Anything you want to talk to them about in particular? Let us know. Send it to us. And I will just say, it's so exciting that that's just a teaser. I have deliberately held back people we all know and love because there's going to be a reveal. Keep it exciting over the whole series. So that's the lay of the land. I am going to finish my coffee. I'm presenting an award at the podcast, the British Podcast Awards. So what I've got to do is go and pick an outfit. What do you wear? I also made the mistake of Googling the venue and it's absolutely huge. And I was like, oh shit, I'm going to shit myself. But I figure if I have a nice suit on, I'll feel better. Look at me, I'm picking my rosemary next to me. Let us know if you watch video or listen, by the way. I'd like to know the split. So I've got to do that. I'm going to find some shoes. I've got a green corduroy suit I think I'm going to wear. We're heading into autumn. I feel like we're ready for something a little thicker. But I don't have any shoes. I never have any smart shoes because I find them uncomfortable. So I'm going to go and do that. I will live stream. I will post podcast awards on socials at Homo Sapiens, so make sure you follow us. Go and subscribe on YouTube. That would be really helpful. Homo Sapiens Pod on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. We're going to release loads of stuff on there, I imagine. And I will leave you with a little tour of my vegetable. When I say vegetable, I mean herb garden. Here is my herb garden. I do something called, it's called veggie something. It's a mix. So basically, growing vegetables and stuff is quite annoying because then you have to fill up a whole thing. So this is a bed. It's like 2 foot by 8 foot. And even that's quite a lot to fill, I think. So what I do, and well, someone told me you do, is you put a variety of things in there. So you put plants in as well. So it actually looks really pretty. So I've got herbs here. So this is sage. This is rosemary. I'm aware this isn't quite so good for the listeners, but I'll try and describe it. It's green. And then I've got, this is called heuchera, which is a purple plant and stays evergreen. And basil, mint, and I've got a fern in there. So you see, we've got all sorts of things that we're growing. And also what I like is they stay green throughout the winter because, not the fern, but rosemary. Because otherwise it all looks a bit depressing, doesn't it, when you look out your window? Are any of you gardening? If so, what are you gardening? How's it all going? Maybe this should be a gardening podcast. Let us know. Because the truth is, listeners, this series is created by you and my compadres, my co-hosts, and I will simply deliver. It is so nice to be back. At Homo Sapiens on Instagram. Hello at Homo Sapiens Podcast on email. Thursday, mark your diaries. It's our first co-host episode. We've got Tom Allen. Did I say that already? I can't remember. Thanks everyone for listening. It's lovely to be back. Sending you lots of love. Bye now.